hello. Welcome once again. Welcome, everybody. What's up? I hope you are ready for another session of immigration education. If you are meeting me for the first time, my name is Lavoisia Akolo, and this is the Free and Love YouTube channel. Please welcome, and let us get to know some information. We're glad that you are watching. If this is the first time you're watching us, please subscribe to our channel. So today we are going to talk about a very important topic about family immigration to the USA. There are several ways you can immigrate to the USA based on the family-based visas. And today you're going to specifically talk about the K1 visa. So let's stay tuned and let's get going. So the K1 visa is a non-immigrant visa that is given to non-US citizens. It allows you to travel to the USA and get married to your fiancé within 90 days of arrival. So you must come and marry within 90 days. And then after some time, you can be able to adjust your status so that you become a legal permanent resident or green card holder. So if you have any children, the children are given what is called a K2 visa. So first of all, I'll begin by defining who is a fiancé. Who is a fiancé? So to be qualified to be a fiancé, you must be legally able to marry the person you are planning to get married to. That means you must not be in another marriage. So the marriage must be legally possible in the state in which you are planning to get married. So the first step in obtaining a K1 visa is that your sponsor in the USA or your fiancé in the USA files what is called a petition. Now, a petition is just like a formal request that is sent to an authority so that they can grant you what you want. So in this case, the sponsor files a formal request to the US government requesting to allow the fiancé to travel to the USA. So this petition has to be filed in the USA. You cannot file a petition in another country. It has to be filed in the USA. And once the petition is approved, it is forwarded to the National Visa Center so that it can be adjudicated. So after the National Visa Center studied your petition and then it says that it has merits, they're going to invite your fiancé for a formal interview. Note that if your fiancé has any children, they have to apply for a K2 visa for them. So your fiancé will now go for an interview so that they can determine whether he or she is eligible to be given the K1 visa. And this interview is normally done at a US embassy or consulate in abroad where your fiancé resides. So there are several documents that your fiancé has to go with at the interview. These documents include a completed application form, a passport for travel, the birth certificate of your fiancé, and if your fiancé was married earlier or the spouse died, you must come with a divorce decree or a death certificate. You also have, he or she also has to come with a medical examination, and there has to be evidence of financial support. So the evidence of financial support includes a document that shows that your potential fiancé has the financial capability of supporting you when you come to the United States of America. So you must be able to show that when you come to the USA, you're not going to become a financial burden and become what is called a public charge. In other words, You don't expect to come to the USA and start living on food stamps. You must be able to show that you are able to provide financial support either for yourself alone, or your sponsor in the USA has to be able to provide evidence that he or she is capable of financially supporting you. So after your K1 visa is approved, then you and the children are able to travel to the USA. So once you arrive in the USA, you have to fit in the system. That means getting a social security card, getting your green card, and getting your driver license, and then you start getting into the system. Next, I'm going to talk about some of the reasons that may cause K1 visa denial. So the first thing I'll talk about is if you're coming from a country that is known to have high fraud, high K1 visa fraud. So there are some countries that are blacklisted in the case of a K1 visa application. And these countries include China, Ghana, India, Kenya, Mexico, Morocco, Nigeria, and Pakistan. So if you are coming from these countries, your application might be given some extra scrutiny because these countries are known to have cases of high visa fraud. So when you go for the interview, the embassy will be looking at some of potential frauds, red flags that will may show that you are a fraud, because most people just want to come to the USA and they use the K1 visa as a fraud pathway. So some of the common things they look at is if you've got no shared language with your potential spouse. For example, so you can't communicate in one language. They don't even speak English. So that is a red flag. Another red flag is when there's a substantial age difference. For example, if you're an old guy trying to marry a lady who is several years younger than you, or an old mama trying to get married to a guy who is several years younger than her, is going to be a potential red flag. They're going to give your case an extra scrutiny. Another red flag is a substantial difference in social class or culture. If you don't share anything in common, you're just like you have got nothing in common to share. That will be a red flag. Another is a red flag is if you have got different religions. This doesn't mean that if you are a Christian, you can marry a Muslim, but they look at your commitment to your religion. For example, Muslims will rarely marry Christians. A strict Muslim will not marry a Christian. So if they look at your religious conviction, and they see how committed you are to that religious conviction, and yet you're trying to marry a person from another religion, that will be a potential red flag. Another red flag is trying to manufacture evidence right before the interview. For you to get a K1 visa, you must show evidence of at least 2 years of interaction. So if they see a sudden burst of activity, like sudden emails, sudden vacations, sudden events taking place at that time of the interview, before the interview, that will be a potential red flag. Another red flag is if one's visa in the USA is about to expire, and that's when they try to get a K1 visa. That is called convenient timing. That will be a red flag. They'll think that you are trying just to look for a way to extend your status. So they're going to give your case an extra scrutiny. Another red flag is the history of unusual marriages. If the person you are trying to marry has had a string of marriages and divorces, they may be a suspect to a potential marriage fraud. So that can compromise your chances of getting a K1 visa. Another red flag is if the person you're trying to marry has a criminal history. Nobody trusts criminals, and in the USA, any criminal act you do is registered, and database search can reveal your criminal background at a click of a mouse. So if your potential fiancé has a criminal history, however slight it may be, in the USA, criminal background check are the order of the day. So that might compromise your chances of getting the K1 visa. So that is all I had to share today. I hope I had some information for somebody. And please, if you had more information, go to the US government website and just look for requirements for K1 visa, and you're going to get more information. So thank you very much for watching my video, and please, if you are new, subscribe to our channel, and we hope that you are going to get more and more content. So thank you for watching. Till we meet next time. Bye.